This is a Fox News alert. The Associated Press reporting North Korea has attempted and failed to launch another missile. The report's citing South Korean media saying that the launch was attempted on North Korea's east coast, a day after a parade in the capital city featured military hardware, including possible ballistic missiles. North Korea celebrating the country's late founder, Kim Jong-un's grandfather. Tensions, of course, going up between our two nations as President Trump talks tough. And right now, he's working to engage American allies to help keeping Kim Jong-un's ambitions at bay. Allies like South Korea and China and Australia, which has big interests across the Pacific Rim. Earlier today, I sat down with Kevin Rudd, a former Prime Minister of Australia. Listen.
The key question is not what North Korean leaders say, because there's always belligerence. It goes up, it comes down, but it's mainly up and always getting higher. The key thing is to observe their technical progress. That's the real technical timetable here. It's about missile range, missile accuracy, your ability to miniaturize nuclear material.
Their ability to go transcontinental with a missile. That's what a lot of people fear.
Or even medium-range missiles and their capacity from a submarine to reach Guam.
And as these high-stakes developments play out, our senior foreign affairs correspondent, Greg Palkot, is on the ground in Pyongyang with the very latest. Hi, Greg.
Hey, Julie. Yes, breaking developments, I have to say. In the past 10 minutes or so, we've been getting word about this failed missile coming from North Korea. In fact, we have not heard it from North Korean government yet. I have been here on the ground in the past where they have tried launches, where they have failed, and frankly, it's taken a day or two to get the government here to admit that it has happened. But as you've been reporting, AP and other agencies quoting the South Korean government, the National Security Council there, saying that they have detected a missile going off or trying to be launched from Simpo. That's one of their launching sites on the east coast of this peninsula, and failing. They call it a ballistic missile. I would have to say that if it was launched from that site, it was probably an intermediate range missile, not a long range missile. They usually launch sites there into the Sea of Japan in the direction of Japan, which certainly gets the Japanese quite nervous, and the United States very nervous. Remember, we have 35,000 service members in Japan, and they could be targeted as well. But it does not appear to be, although we don't have confirmation, a long-range missile. And as you've noted, we were expecting something like this around this day. Yesterday was North Korean time. We are Sunday morning right now. Was the 105th anniversary of the birthday of the founder of this country, Kim Il-sung, and we were expecting, frankly, all sorts of things around this time. There was heightened interest in the possibility of a sixth nuclear device being detonated around this time, or maybe also a longer range intercontinental ballistic style missile being launched as well. That did not occur, and we figured that Kim Jong-un, the young leader of this country, was going to let his rhetoric do the firing rather than his missiles. But in fact, now we see there was an attempt, according to South Korean government, to make some trouble on the east coast of this country and in this region. That is the big concern, that they do have a ICBM, or will have an ICBM a missile that could be tipped with a nuclear warhead that could reach, believe it or not, the United States. According to several experts that we've been speaking to, that possibility could be within the next 3 years, as they put it, within the first term of President Trump's time in office. And that's exactly why he and his officials are going so hard to try to rein in the regime here in North Korea. I'll give you a little bit of taste of what we saw on Saturday, because it relates to what we're talking about here. First, let me show you how close we got to the young leader of this country, and then we'll talk a little bit about what we saw yesterday in that parade. Take a look at us yesterday at the parade.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un presiding over a most unusual combination parade here in Pyongyang. Military, civilian, and nationalism. Perhaps because his government is in a most unusual situation. in a standoff with the United States over his banned nuclear and missile program. The young leader is looking to the crowds for raucous, perhaps highly orchestrated support.
Now, in that parade, Julie, this is very interesting. We and experts who really know a lot about this stuff were looking hard at the hardware that was rolling by us. And yes, they saw 2 intermediate-range missiles of the type that might have been launched this morning that was on display to the public. One was a submarine launch missile, another a land launch missile, and even more alarming to the experts is they saw at least prototypes being rolled by on trucks of possible intercontinental ballistic missiles, new types of missiles perhaps using different types of fuels, and that's gotten people concerned. Other than what we saw on the ground there, we also heard a lot of strong rhetoric. The right-hand man, the right-hand official to Kim Jong-un, he gave the speech. We did not hear, in fact, from Kim Jong-un, and in his words, this country would, quote, defiantly confront the United States in any full-out war, including nuclear strikes. And we even got a shout-out to President Trump in the official government output yesterday. The state media saying that it was, in fact, President Trump causing all the problems with his, quote, military hysteria, and they called that dangerous in the United States, not North Korea, and that it would, quote, be no longer tolerated. So recapping what we're hearing, Julie, again, a failure according to South Korean officials by North Korea. They attempted to launch a missile. Our guess is medium range. We don't have a confirmation on that. It appears early this morning. I'm looking at my watch now. We're just going just before 8 a.m. here on a Sunday morning. They usually do it early in the morning. It came perhaps at least a day or 2 later than we expected, but it came around the time of the most important date in their calendar, the anniversary, the founder of the birth of the founder.
That was Greg Palkot reporting. Unfortunately, our satellite cut short there, but reporting live from Pyongyang in North Korea. He was talking about the 105th birth anniversary of Kim Jong-un's grandfather and his regime threatening to provoke a response from the U.S. by testing missiles or other weapons. And this just in, our U.S. military is confirming that indeed a failed ballistic missile, unidentified missile, was tested. It was launched. It, in fact, I'm told by my producers, blew up almost immediately. It's not clear exactly what kind of missile this could have been. Greg Palkot just now reporting on mid-range missiles. Now, let me just clarify about missile technology. There are Taepodong-1, there are Taepodong-2 missiles. Back in 2006, on another eventful day, in fact, it was the 4th of July here in the United States, and Kim Jong-il, at the time, test-fired 7 missiles, some of which were those long-range missiles, some of the most dangerous kind. North Korea, obviously, provoking a response by the U.S. We are awaiting on a response from the White House. But as you mentioned, you just heard Greg Palkot mention, this is very much in response to how heavily handed our administration, the Trump administration, is handling this situation in North Korea that has gone on way too long. And so currently North Korea issuing a forceful response to the deployment of a U.S. naval strike group that is also in the region. So the threats continue. This was a failed launch. We are awaiting a response from the White House.